station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Welcome to the Know Nothing Show with Alan Elkins and Rich Freedman, who have been in the legal profession for over 30 years and now want to share their experience and knowledge with you, the public. Hey, maybe they do know a little something. Join Alan and Rich by calling in at 888-565-1470 or watching them on elkinsandfreedman.com on Monday nights. And now, here's Alan Elkins and Rich Freedman.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another fun-filled edition of the Elkins and Freedman Know Nothing Show. And how are you tonight, Mr. Freedman?
Not too bad. Not too bad hanging in there. How was your last week?
My weekend was fine, but, I don't think it was as good as yours because somebody told me that you didn't pick up a check at all this weekend. Somehow you finagled free meals starting on Friday. I need to know, is that true?
Some of my clients don't have the funds sometimes to pay my consultation fee, so instead they take me out for a nice little lunch.
So let me just understand this now. Friday afternoon, I know you got a free lunch. So
yes.
I joined you in on that one.
Right.
But the rumor is you also had a free dinner Friday night?
Free dinner.
Really? Now, who took you to dinner? If they don't mind,
A client.
Client took you to dinner. Where'd you go Friday night?
Well, he let me supersize it, so let me start by saying that.
All right. And I'm sure the pig you are, you got the foot-long sub. All right.
I had to.
I'm sure you did better than that. So you ate for free Friday night.
Right. Saturday I took the day off.
You took the day off? Does that mean you paid?
No, I just went without eating.
You fasted for the day.
And then Sunday I had another one.
Another what? Another free meal?
Yes, correct. But that's
goodness.
my client's pleasure to do that for me.
I'm sure it is. I know you must be engaging company.
Yes.
So listen, we have a couple of things on the agenda tonight. In just a minute, we'll be talking to a doctor by the name of Richard Pellegrino. As a matter of fact, Mr. Pellegrino is the guy that sprung for the free lunch on Friday.
That's true. That's very nice of him. And a bottle of water, too, also, I think.
Okay, so Dr. Pellegrino, hold on. We'll be right with you. I think I want to start off the show by talking about another article about an attorney behaving badly. If you remember last week, we had the New York attorney who got loaded at a bar in New York, took off all her clothes, and said,
"How could we forget
remember that? Have at me, boys." I know. All right. Well, the story this week, not to be outdone, here's a West Coast attorney. He said he was celebrating his birthday in a high-roller suite at the Encore Hotel, beautiful hotel. He was arrested and sued because he caused $100,000 worth of damage in a drunken rumpus.
Another fine member of the bar.
That's right. Now, I'm not exactly sure what a rumpus is. I have an idea what a rumpus is, but who uses the word rumpus?
Not me.
All right. So anyway, it says Robert Pearman, a Los Angeles attorney specializing in workers' compensation, was charged with malicious destruction of property following an incident at a 3-bedroom, 2-story, 58-square-hundred-foot room. Now, I don't know about you. My rooms usually measure about 10 by 10. I kick the roaches in the corners and get on your side of the room. But my goodness, you got to admit that's.
Where did you stay last time? The dewdrop inn?
The dewdrop inn. Actually, you want to know? That's another story. But I'm quite the authority on Las Vegas hotels. I probably stayed at dozens of them.
Didn't you get married a couple times in Las Vegas?
Oh, another cheap shot, Richard. Actually, I did get married in Las Vegas last time, and we'll say that for another show, but it was a lovely wedding, and if by some chance she's listening, and love you, honey. Anyway, so that's our first story, but, as long as they keep giving us material, lawyers behaving badly, I think we're gonna have to make that a regular segment.
I think we should make that a segment to our show every week. Lawyers behaving badly segment.
And listen, and if anybody, this is my part where I go ahead and tell people how to reach us on the phone and on our website. We'd love for you to join in. If you have a story of an attorney behaving badly or other segment where you wish to comment on a failed relationship, a bad date, we invite you to share with us at 888-565-1470. You can watch us live on our website right now. I see how handsome we look tonight, Richard.
I do look pretty good, don't I?
Yeah, you do. You might want to do something about that gray hair, but, I don't know. But
at least it's a natural color.
It is a natural.
As opposed to some people who color their hair like a different color every week.
Every now and then I like a little bozo red highlights, if you know what I mean. But anyway, it's elkinsandfreedman.com, so if you're curious what we look like, join in. You know, and somebody asked me actually last week, they say that during our commercial break, and thanks to our producer for re-recording the message and getting my name right. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it.
It's only been a few months, so give him a chance.
A few months. He got it right. But, you know, it refers to our mascot, Tiffany. And I'm going to have to bring a picture of my dog, Tiffany. And because people have asked about her. In fact, you know, I love to dress her up. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that on the air, but, you know, I took the dog for a stroll. The dog has its own stroller. We were in the town center mall this weekend. She had a fabulous time.
That's very touching.
All right. Anyway. All right. I think he's held on long enough. We have Dr. Richard Pellegrino on the line. Are you there, Richard?
Guys, how are you?
Hey, Richard. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good, but I guess when you guys talk about getting admitted to the bar, you might be talking about something else. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we've been admitted a couple times, not necessarily to the bar, but yes. We are members. Actually, Richard and I should say this. People don't know this. We've been members of the Florida Bar for over 30 years.
Yeah. I just counted. I think I've been a member like 33, and you've been probably 34.
Yeah, we're officially like old guys now. You know, what can I tell you? But we're young at heart. But, Richard, exactly. I said at the beginning, if you heard that you were nice enough, actually, we had the pleasure of dining with you this past weekend, and we'd love for you to share a little bit about your background with us and what you do. So I know that you're a chiropractor by profession. Why don't you give us a little bit of your history, where you came from?
Well, I'm originally from upstate New York, and I went to chiropractic college at Logan College of Chiropractic in St. Louis. Been practicing 9.5 years, certified in acupuncture through University of Miami. And a lot of that time, I've been treating people involved in auto accidents, which is kind of how I came to know you guys.
And where are your offices, Richard?
I'm located at 3836 West Hillsborough Boulevard. It's on the southwest corner of Powerline and Hillsborough in Deerfield.
Okay.
And the other office is in Hialeah off Okeechobee and the Palmetto.
So being down in Miami, I assume that you are fluent in Espanol?
Yes, that's definitely a prerequisite to practicing in Miami. It definitely helps communicating with patients and just exchanging information. It's a lot easier.
And what's your phone number if anybody goes, oh, man, I'm so glad I'm listening to this guy. How can I get in touch with him? What do they call?
I can be reached at 954-600-4655, and we can also schedule a complimentary evaluation worth $65 if anything musculoskeletal-wise happens to be going on. We also accept most auto and health insurances as well.
All right. What I'm interested in, how did you make the decision to become a doctor? I mean, at what point in your life did you go, you know, I think this is something that interests me? Somebody in your family? It's something you always wanted to do?
Well, I had a positive experience with chiropractic. I had a scoliosis as a child and was treated by, I'm from upstate New York. It's a small town. There were a few chiropractors. I was treated by one of them and actually corrected the curvature that I had in my back. So I was pretty well amazed because I actually didn't receive that much treatment, but it happened to balance out again. And then I went on to look at osteopathic medical school, which, if you're familiar with that, is DOs are typically similar to medical doctors. They prescribe medication, perform surgery, and do injections, but they also know how to manipulate the spine. And basically the founding fathers of chiropractic and osteopathy were friends and exchanged ideas regarding manipulation, and actually started studying that and decided to kind of go more toward holistic medicine and went into chiropractic.
And just for the listening audience, you're a married guy, single guy?
Yeah, I've been married, happily married over a year.
So you're newlywed.
Well, you've been happily married for over a year, but how long have you been married is the question.
I've been married for a year and a little bit.
Okay.
Check back with us in another year. No, just a cheap joke, Richard. All right, so listen, why don't you take a couple minutes for people who have never been treated by a chiropractor? I have. I believe in it. I know my wife's had sciatica. She swears she's on her feet a lot as a flight attendant. It's helped her immeasurably. Tell us how that works. What do you actually do?
Well, the basic philosophy of chiropractic is that we restore functionality to the nervous system, which, if you think about the nervous system, it's the brain, spinal cord, peripheral nerves. That's like the computer center for your entire body. That controls all your movements, all your actions, your activities, your internal organs, and things like that. So, the old analogy in chiropractic is the garden hose. When you happen to step on a garden hose, the water actually won't come out anymore. In the same way, when a nerve gets irritated or pinched by a vertebrae or a bone irritating it, that nerve won't function up to its optimal abilities. And the adjustment has been found to be very effective in alleviating stress on the nerve and increasing your functionality and decreasing pain. And it's actually been shown more effective in some studies than anti-inflammatories in the treatment of back pain.
Now, a lot of people are under the belief that if they have a problem, they go to a chiropractor, that they're going to get hooked in, they're going to have to go for a long period of time. Is that, myth or fact?
That's actually a myth, and there's some funny anecdotes regarding that, and that's been out there for years. But surprisingly, the exact same kind of repeat business marketing doesn't seem to have hurt dentists or motor oil companies or your local gym. If you think about it, don't you go to them on a repeat basis? I mean, you get your teeth cleaned or you change the oil in your car every 3,000 to 5,000 miles. So, I mean, how bad would it be to have your spine checked regularly for subluxations? Or, I mean, it seems pretty logical. I mean, some things in life need periodic maintenance, tune-ups or adjustments, and in order for them to maintain running at a peak efficiency. It's kind of like, if you have a gym membership and you would say, well, when you want to get in shape, you wouldn't just quit and say, okay, I'm in shape now after going once or twice to get that svelte body. So it's just a different analogy.
Although I went to a gym twice, once to join and once to renew.
Oh, really?
There you go, another pithy comment from my partner.
Just can't help myself.
Well, listen, I kind of get the analogy, although, I change the motor oil every 7,500 miles. But I think what people want to know, if they're hurt, is this going to be like something that they're going to have to do for an indefinite period of time, or does it really depend on the circumstances?
It's really case specific. For example, if you've had a major trauma, which it's been shown that like a 30-mile-an-hour impact produces a several-fold impact to the body in terms of pounds per square inch, that's a pretty significant trauma to your discs and your joints and can predispose you to premature arthritis and things like that. So, of course, you may need to be treated a little bit more frequently with a trauma, slip and fall, car accident than you would with, for example, just a sprained strain playing basketball or something. But all that is determined in the exam, evaluation, and in the diagnostic testing.
All right. Well, let me ask you, what about in terms of costs? Is it covered by insurance? Is it not covered by insurance? That's another, I'm sure, common question.
Well, nowadays, we've lobbied for the right over a long period of decades to be able to bill to a third-party payer. So many third-party payers, insurance companies, health insurance companies, they cover the main codes that we're doing, the adjustments, the manual therapy. So, yes, it's covered under auto and most health insurance policies, and is actually included in the Affordable Health Care Act, Obamacare, that's beginning next year. Well, Medicare covers it.
As you know, Elkins and Freedman, we handle personal injury cases and the like, and there are recent changes to the PIP law, which are now into effect, although I guess it's being challenged in the courts now. But why don't you give the listenership just a little idea of what the new laws are? Particularly I know that an accident victim has to receive treatment within 14 days, I guess, from a physician. And the question is it good enough to see a chiropractor, or do they have to be referred from some other source initially. How does that work?
Well, the interesting thing to me is, it's a little bit of a contradiction, is that you need to be treated if you've had a car accident within 14 days of the date of incident by an ambulance, hospital physician, osteopathic physician, chiropractor, or dentist in order to access your benefits, which would be the $2,500 initial threshold.
And that's important for people to understand, because it changed from initially you were able to charge up to what, the $10,000, correct? So now it's a $2,500 threshold.
Right, unless that's a pretty important caveat, that you get a letter of emergency medical condition from a physician, osteopathic physician, dentist, or supervised PA, or advanced registered nurse practitioner. Now, in that case, a chiropractor is not designated to be able to write that letter, so it doesn't really quite make sense to me that a chiropractor can treat a person within 14 days, but then is not, available to write that letter of EMC in order to access the patient's other, if the patient needs it or warrants it, that other $7,500.
Right. Let me just ask you, because we're coming up on a break soon, do you have any specific instances of cases that you found interesting or might want to share with people, or people that have, came in a cripple and walked out, on Dancing with the Stars, that type of thing?
Well, just a funny anecdote, I guess. When people say, "Hey, doc, can you crack my back?" which is a pretty common phrase that you'll hear as a chiropractor. It's not really educated terminology, but patients always hear that pop or crack, and it also sounds as if I attended the Steven Seagal School of Chiropractic, where everybody goes in and some people come out, not walking. So I think that's just a funny thing that you hear a lot as a chiropractor, but really it's an adjustment. The adjustment is kind of the terminology we try to use with that, and we found that it's been really beneficial in people that have been. I've had people limping in and coming out walking fine and able to participate in their activities again and increase their quality of life, and we just see those stories over and over again on a daily basis, and we're happy to be able to help people with that. So.
Yeah, you know what? We're coming up on a break. Why don't you give your phone number one more time before we let you go, and then we'll have you back in the future. Give us your number again.
Yeah, sure. I'm Dr. Pellegrino. I'm at 954-600-4655 on Powerline in Hillsborough and Deerfield. And thanks again, guys, for having me out.
And Richard, I'm available for lunch on Friday and next Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and Richard, he means it, provided you pick up the paycheck.
Absolutely.
All right, I believe we're up on a break now. We'll be back in just a minute.
Life is so overwhelming right now. The emotional and financial challenges are too much. More debt than you can possibly handle? Facing divorce or other family law problems? Injured and don't know where to turn? Where can I get solid, affordable legal guidance? At Elkins and Freedman, an experienced lawyer will explain options and treat you with humanity. They help people throughout Central and South Florida solve these problems. This is a law firm you can trust, and they actually pick up the phone. They have a 30-year track record of positive results, and they make legal costs manageable for people from all walks of life. Make the call. 1-800-992-1277 or visit them on the web at elkinsandfriedman.com. When you visit, you might even meet Tiffany, the office mascot. Elkins and Freedman take the intimidation and worry out of getting the legal help you really need. Call today, 1-800-992-1277, and begin to make sense of your life.
Partner said no. Yeah,
now
we
now
are.
we're on.
Now we are.
Now
Yes,
we're
yes. All right, now we're on. All right, this brings us to it's probably my favorite part of the show, and that is tell me about your spouse or your ex. And we don't limit it to just exes. We like bad date experiences, boyfriends, girlfriends. We like things that are a little bit out of the ordinary. Now, I know we have a gentleman on the line, and I actually know this gentleman. He and I are friends, and he's a doctor. He's a podiatrist. So if he tells us a good story, maybe we'll give him a plug. His name is Lyle. Are you there, Lyle? Can you hear me, Lyle?
I can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. All right. Well, my friend Lyle called me over the weekend, and, we check up on each other every now and then. And for those available women in the audience, Lyle is a single gentleman. He has a nice medical practice, and he's trolling for dates. So along those lines, I know that Lyle has joined a couple of dating services, and every now and then I'll say, so what's going on? Tell me about your experiences. Well, he had a story for me that was just great. I said, save it. I only heard a little bit of it, and he's going to share it with us.
Well, let's hear it.
So, Dr. Scolar, tell us a little bit about the date. First off, we're not going to use any names. We don't want to embarrass anybody. How did you meet this individual to set up a date?
I met this individual through an online service, and we corresponded back and forth over a couple of weeks.
All right. Now, before you make the date, I assume you have the ability to look at their picture, right?
I did. I did look at the picture, and the pictures can be manipulated. But I did look at the picture, and I felt there could be possibly some chemistry.
All right. Did this person, was she of the female species to begin with? She looked like a moderately attractive woman?
She was.
How old did she look?
Modified. She looked about her age, mid-50s.
Okay.
All right, mid-50s, and it's no secret. You're in your mid-50s as well, correct?
Correct.
All right. So you all exchange profiles, and then how does a date get set up? What do?
You chat on the phone. You see if you can have a pretty good conversation, and if you both agree, then you meet for a date.
All right, so you hit it off with this individual. So the next stop after that, I suppose it could be lunch, it could be dinner. So what did you decide to do with this individual?
We decided to do dinner, and usually it's a quick meeting, but I was kind of hungry at the time, so I decided to not follow my rules and allow it to be an entire dinner.
Now, for those that are out there, I'm unfamiliar. I always pick up the check, unlike my partner who never picks it up. But when you go out on these dating services, what's customary? Do you share the check? Do you pick it up? What's customary?
Whatever you choose could be customary.
So what was your understanding with this young, or not young lady, this medium-aged lady?
Well, usually we're both taking a risk, and if we're both taking a risk, it should be an equal risk. And my preference often is to share the check, at least on the first meeting.
All right. So who decides about where you're going to eat?
Well, who decides? When do you decide who's going to pay the check? Before you meet or at the end of the meeting?
Before you meet, not at the end of the meeting.
Yeah, I guess you want some ground rules so that there's no surprise. Shorter's that Peking duck, she better be paying for it.
Or the lobster.
Right? Or the lobster. All right, so listen. So you met at a place. You don't have to tell us the name, but what type of cuisine did you meet for?
I'd rather not say what kind of cuisine, but when we met, what kind of shocked me was she was a lot wider and more.
Wait. I'm not letting him off the hook. Why don't you want to share the cuisine? Does it sound better to let the listeners imagine? It could be Indian, it could be Chinese, it could be Italian. You think that somehow that she may be listening?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. All right. I'm glad you don't know our listenership, but thanks for the compliment. All right. So you've agreed. You agreed you're going to meet for dinner at an undisclosed location and eat some type of food.
And he split the bill in half.
And split the bill in half. So does she arrive before you do, or you arrive before she does?
I arrive like I'd like to before she does.
All right. And you do that why? So you can check her out or pretend you're not there if she's hideous?
Oh, it's sort of nice if the girl's prince is sitting waiting for her to arrive.
All right, so you're sitting there waiting for her to arrive. You have a nice window seat, clear vantage of the entranceway.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so what happens?
I get up when she arrives and welcome her and walk over to her and wave. She gives me a kiss on the cheek, and I felt like I'm kissing my father.
Whoa.
Not your mother, your father?
Wait. That's not a good sign. I thought I was kissing my father. Is that because you felt chin whiskers, or what would give you that indication?
I felt that there were many chin whiskers, that she was a heavier shaver than myself.
Oh, my
Wow.
goodness. Oh, I'm told we have 3 minutes for this story. We got to get to the good stuff. All right. So you think now that you have a dinner date with your father. Okay, so you sit down at the table, and her voice, it's not like when you talked to her, because you said you talked to her on the phone, correct? Did she have a womanly voice?
No, she had a raspy voice, and she was wearing a wig.
How do you know she was wearing a wig?
Because I kept staring at the part line, and I could see the fabric at the base of the wig was not her scalp.
All right. Now let me ask you: were there other people in the restaurant at the time?
Yes.
Were people staring at you and her?
Mostly her.
So they were
Not everyone, just mostly.
All right.
Primarily at her, off and on.
All right. So, did you complete your meal?
We completed our meal, and I would stare at her hairy arms.
You would stare at her hairy arms. Man, hey, let me ask you this: what
No, we got to keep going. We're
Yeah,
not stopping.
we may run out of time
Even
for
if we have
this.
to do it in the parking lot, we're going to finish this
All
story.
right, so listen to me: whiskers on the chin, hairy arms. Just out of curiosity, what did she have for dinner? Or you'd rather not say? I
right.
forgot. You don't want to share the
The
dinner.
point is, I didn't want to rush the meal because I didn't want to hurt her feelings.
All right, so how long
Her
were you in
feelings
the
or his
We've all been
feelings?
hurt.
How long were you in the
Yeah,
restaurant? I only have 30 seconds to
No.
wrap this up. How
We
long?
dragged
How
it out
long
for
was the date?
45 minutes. The date was an hour. I was finished with my meal in less than 15 minutes.
Oh boy!
Well, you didn't bother chewing. You just swallowed the whole meal.
And hopefully you didn't throw
I
up
did.
right
I
after the
wanted to
meal.
Here, you wanted
listen.
to hear and taste mine, and I said, "You don't know me. I don't know you."
All right, so I guess the second date is out of the question.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you, when you left, did you kiss each other on the cheek again?
No, I actually sprinted to my car.
You sprinted to your car. All right, listen, you've been a good sport. We're running out of time. You're a well-known podiatrist in the community. Why don't you give your phone number and where you can be reached? Quick.
I'm in Boynton Beach, 561-736-1033.
All right, thank you. Thank you for calling. We'll have to do this again. Keep dating, Lyle. I need more stories.
That could have been the best story we've heard all week.
All right, everybody, another fun-filled show comes to an end. If you like us, let the station know. We'd like some outside people to call us, and we'll see you next Monday.
Take care. Have a good week. And Alan and myself, Rich, will be here next week, same time, with some more stories and some interesting guests.
You have been listening to the Elkins and Freedman Know Nothing Show, where maybe you learned a little something today. To reach their offices, call 954-772-6014 or toll free 1-800-992-1277. Tune in again next time for more Elkins and Freedman. The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.